thank you so much for making time for this and joining us today. It's like an absolute pleasure to have the two of you here.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Your wedding was the wedding of the season. There was so much brouhaha around it. It was very special for all of us as well because it was so inspiring to see the two of you together. And you've had a beautiful journey, 4 years together, right?
That's true. 4 years.
And it's so amazing because Aditya, when I had my last interaction with you, you spoke about finding the best friend in your partner, having someone you could have unending conversations with. Like, she has to be my best friend. She has to talk to me the entire day. She should have so many interesting things to say to her. And what I have heard about you, Anushka, you're a very bubbly personality and you can just take over any place that you walk into.
She's so easy making conversations. It's unbelievable. It doesn't take anybody more than 5 minutes to open up about their lives to her, which is very surprising because it happened with me as well. And I'm usually, when I meet new people, I'm a little more reserved, and then she just opened me up like a book.
Wow, that is amazing. I am going to give you both a little bit of brief about WeddingWire India. I am, by the way, Rumela. I am the lead editor at WeddingWire India. And WeddingWire India is part of the North Worldwide. We are a comprehensive wedding technology platform. And our couples can find more than 65,000 vendors and free planning tools with our app. We also have blog and social media channels which are dedicated to like inspiring, entertaining, educating our couples. And we are the one and only community in India for all of the couples. So because your wedding and your love story is so awe-inspiring, I am sure that this interview is going to be like an amazing watch and read for our viewers and readers.
I hope so.
So the first question that I'm sure that everyone would want to know is your Jab We Met story. How did the two of you meet and was it love at first sight?
So we met at an event and I had already seen who he was on Instagram before that, and I was immediately attracted to him. I didn't know him at all to fall in love, and unfortunately our times are not as easy and beautiful like it used to be that, you know, people can easily fall in love. But I just was very, very attracted towards him, obviously his face, but there was just something about him. Then his name was Aditya Seal. So Seal was really cute and funny, and you know, me and my friends used to send back memes of seals and like a proper seal. And there was a picture of him eating a pizza, so we would just stick an emoticon of a pizza and send it around with the seal. So we did all this silliness, and my sister's like, Didi, your luck is so bad. Even if you meet him, he's gonna date me. He'll date anyone, but he won't date you. So I said, yeah, could be, because I'd been single for a very, very long time. So we met at an event which was hosted by my mom, and I asked a friend of ours who's a photographer to, invite any celebrities that he had worked with if he would like for them to be a part of our charity show. And he messaged me, Aditya Seal has confirmed. And I was just so excited because I was trying to get to him via other people, thinking I'll invite them and then through them I'll invite him. And then it turned out that I didn't have to do all that hard work. And he said yes on his own. So somewhere I feel like that was meant to be, because if I hadn't met him that day, I don't know if I'd ever meet him.
Yeah, circles are not similar at all. Her friends are poles apart than from my friends, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know what made me say a yes, because it was a Sunday. I didn't even think that it was a Sunday that the event was on. And our common friend Rahul just said, why don't you come on? I said, okay, let's do it. And for me, I had met her for the first time. I had known of her for the first time. And I was very nervous. Also, she's 5 feet 10, 11 inches tall, and you know, she has a very commanding personality, very strong in the way she speaks. And because I hadn't done my costume trials earlier, so I had reached the event a few hours earlier than the others, and then there she was sitting with her team over there, and she's saying, okay, why don't you try her outfit? And I've come out and I'm like, oh my god, I'm nervous around this girl for some odd reason. I don't know what it is. I thought she was too cool. And I've come out and she said, what do you feel? And I had no idea what to say. I said, if it's good for you, it's good for me.
And for me, I was just thinking like, oh, you know, he's oh wow, another good-looking actor who's very arrogant. And I was like, how heartbreaking is this? Where you saw someone on Instagram and they look so sweet and innocent, and when you meet them, they're just so arrogant. And I was like, what was I expecting? Of course, he was going to be like that.
Because I was very nervous around her, so I was keeping my conversations very, very short. I said, if it's good for you, it's good for me.
And even a lot of our friends, a lot of times, like I have to make him break the ice with people because he's a man such few words that it could come across little arrogant or anything. And now with like, you know, him doing a lot more work in movies, so it looks very bad, but it was not that. So initially I was like, oh my god, like this is actually heartbreaking. Like I finally met him after stalking him for 3-4 months, and this is what the outcome is, where he's like so monosyllabic. And I was like, okay, fine, it's fine, it's okay.
But then we spoke. Actually, she spoke to me for a while over there. She was showing me the entire event set up in the scenario which she had done, and then we actually hung out the entire day. We went out with her friends for shisha, then we came back to her house with the friends and everybody, and then it was her who kept making plans to meet up.
Yeah, because so I purposely dropped like a bomb because a friend of ours was opening a restaurant a few days later. So I was like, oh, you know, would you like to come for food tasting and everything? And he's like, yeah, cool. So I said, ab yaar, 2 दिन हो गए, इसने message नहीं किया, call नहीं किया, what do I do? So I literally messaged him saying, hey, remember the food tasting I was talking about? Would you like to go? We're planning on a Wednesday or a Thursday or whatever. So he said, yeah, okay, cool. And again, I'm like, why are you not talking if you're wanting to meet? Like, just text me. What is wrong with you?
Jesus. There were 2 girlfriends of hers who spoke. One is an English girl, so who spoke in an English accent. The other one is from Kenya. And I'm like, where am I stuck? What has happened?
My Desi boy was stuck between all these Pirangis.
Absolutely.
So Aditya, the reason why you weren't getting back, was it just because you were very, very nervous and you did not know how to break the ice, but sparks were already flying between the two?
Yeah, you know, it was exactly that. I felt there was a connection. I felt that she is definitely you're trying to make more plans and, you know, trying to get closer. I was nervous, and she speaks a lot. She speaks really well. I mean, it's in a good way. And so I was nervous. I would speak 2 words in 1 hour, and she would be the one making conversation. So that would ease me. And I said, okay, I don't have to do the talking. She can do that. I just have to respond to it. That's cool by me. But I was just very nervous around her for some odd reason. Her personality is that strong that it just made me weak.
So you can just imagine how hard it must have been for me. Because I was like, I can't. I'm trying to break the ice. I'm trying for him to become comfortable.
Yeah.
Why is he just not getting comfortable? Like, what more can I do? But every time we met, it was nice. It was so. I guess that's our story of how we met and how we kept meeting till we finally started dating.
This is really sweet. I think it's quite challenging for a woman in the beginning because you think maybe he's not interested. But then I think this was fate, because it's beautiful how the 2 of you just met and then things just happened from there. Is it a classic opposite poles attract, or there are interests or hobbies wherein the 2 of you are very similar?
Nope.
No, we are actually very opposite. Even in like basic food preferences, like my comfort food would be Asian, his would be Indian. So I'm saying even something as small as that, it's just not like every time you're just like lumping in bed and it's a Sunday and I feel like ordering in. He's like burger mangate. I'm like, nahi yaar, desi Chinese mangate. So you know, like nothing of ours is in sync. But our likes, our dislikes, our lifestyle, our just our basic everything is so different. But so I think completely like we are like opposites attract. Because I think we just see on a very core level how we feel for each other and how we are with each other. The fact that we can sit in a room in silence and it doesn't make us uncomfortable, I think that's a very big deal. The fact that we took a trip really early on in our relationship for like a week or 10 days.
Yeah.
And we did 3 months into a relationship where you genuinely, at this point in life, you really don't get to know anyone even for 6-8 months. You know, you're constantly getting to know.
And that too for New Year's. So
for New Year's, we were
bringing in the New Year.
alone. I mean, we were meeting a few friends, but we both were alone. And we were not bored, we were not uncomfortable, we didn't feel weird about saying or doing anything, about any kind of habits, you know, like eating habits or bathroom habits, you know, that's like the weirdest thing ever. But everything was just comfortable. So I feel like on a very deeper level, we are the same people.
I think, you know, even though we are very different as to our likes and dislikes, but the fact that we are open to trying each other's preferences out is what makes a relationship more interesting. I started liking the kind of food that she eats. Like, she's very much into Japanese. I would have never touched sushi in my life before that, and now it's become my favorite cuisine as well. So you know, it's just our openness to try each other's preferences out. One thing she hasn't tried, which I love to do, I love nature and just going into the mountains, and I've been to Himachal a few months ago just with my guy friends, and just in the middle of a jungle, and that is something she hasn't tried yet, and I want her to, but she's not.
I say you give me a decent accommodation, I will come to whichever jungle and sit there all day. But just let me go back in a decent room with a decent bed and a decent bathroom.
It's a village.
He literally had to stay over for a week in that place with a big spider.
In my room.
There was just a spider on his wall, and I'm like, this much love and guts I don't have. Like, forget it.
And I said, it's not bothering me, I'm not bothering it, let's live.
No thanks. Let's not live.
I actually agree with you, Aditya. I think the authentic way of life is so amazing, and it's nice that you are experiencing that. Anushka is giving the looks.
That's not my scheme.
Alright, I think a very important question. All of these friendship interactions that the two of you had, when did you know it's love?
I don't know of a particular moment that I knew that it was love, because every time that I met her, she kept growing on me. Every time I would leave to go back home, I said, oh my God, this girl is amazing. I've heard something new, I've learned something new. So it just gradually, but every single time that I met her, it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing on me. Don't have an exact moment, but I remember that, like we were saying, that we went for New Year's together 3 months into our dating. I was so sure that time that I had planned that I'll propose to her in that trip. I didn't do it, it would be too early, but I was sure back then. So I don't know how, what moment, but I knew it.
I just feel like I've always just been so pulled towards him, and it hasn't happened before where I've wanted to make this much of an attempt to get to know anybody. Like, at a point I was like, you know, because we were just meeting and chatting every day, but there was nothing happening, and it was very like platonic and very general conversations, but they were nice conversations that we were getting to know each other. I was like, you know what, even if this stays this way and he's just a part of my life, I think I would be happy, but I just don't want to not have him around. And like at a point I'd already realized कि कुछ नहीं होने वाला है यहाँ पे, ये बस दोस्ती हो गई है, and I was okay with it. Like, it was absolutely fine. But I always just wanted to be a part of his life, and I wanted him to be a part of mine. And I feel like when I just started seeing how he is as a person, I was like, I've always been a little fearful of marriage and, you know, getting into a not serious relationship, but getting married. Like, I've not been always very confident that would that ever happen for me. So, but when I started hanging out with him, I was like, if it ever does, it has to be with him. Like, there's no two ways about it.
I said, but I'm a nice guy. I'm wanting to treat you nice. I'm not just wanting to be somebody who just hangs around and moves on. I just want to be there. What's wrong with that? So I couldn't understand her at all at that point of time. I said, what's stopping you?
I understand it a little bit. It's like when you have something so amazing, you are scared that if you take the next step, everything might just fall apart.
Yeah, that happened with her.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear. I was like, I don't want it to go to the next level, because there's another level after that, which is it's over. And I'm like, I don't want to reach closer to that space. I want it to be, even if it's not the best it can be, like, you know, we're just going to be buddies, it's fine. But at least I know I'm not losing you. So, and I mean, with age and relationships, you start becoming a little fearful of these things, and your optimism kind of goes little out of the window, where you're like, itna bhi positive nahi ho sakte all the time, So I was just trying to play it safe, but then he made me feel safer. So that's the reason why I was happy to be a part of this relationship.
And I was actually coming from a position where I had decided that I will not be dating anybody for a long time, because I've had relationships in the past, and I don't remember a time that I've been single and just being by myself and just doing what single people do, roam around, meet new people, make new friends. I haven't done that.
And this is the first thing he's told me. I've not been single in a damn long time, so I just want to be single. And then he said, I want to date you. I said, are you mad? So those are two very contradictory things.
So 13 years I was, seeing somebody in and out of relationships. I didn't really have time for myself. This was the time I had decided that there is no way am I seeing anybody, am I dating anybody. Make friends, meet friends, that's good by me. And I told her this. And then something just went right in my brain, and I said, this one I'm not letting go. And I forced her into a relationship. I forced her.
I want to know more about that. How did you force her into a relationship?
Well,
we went out, and he was like talking about getting into a relationship, and I was like, no, I really don't think I can do it. I have my own insecurities, and I don't want to do it. And then we were chatting, we got into an argument, we came back to my place, we were sitting, we were chatting, and he literally sat on me and he said, you will date me. You will date me. And I'm like laughing, I'm like, what are you doing? Get off me, you large person.
I literally sat on her and I said, you date me now. I'm not getting off.
Imagine, like, you're just like crushing a human being. So it was as silly and sweet as that, and I think the whole relationship has been as silly and sweet as that.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting a little filmy when I'm talking to the two of you, because you keep reminding me of that quote, "Pyar dosti hai."
Yeah.
I see that equation between the two of you. And I also know that you were working together for Fitrat. So were you already in love when that show started?
Yeah, we were already in a relationship, we were already seeing each other.
One of the major reasons to want to do the show was we got an opportunity to work together, and we said, when would we ever get that chance?
Yeah.
So we grabbed it and we ran with it, and it was fun. Like, it made the whole journey more fun, and
we had a lot of
and
fun.
he's my best friend, so having him on a set, where you're out of the city or working random hours, why would you not want your best friend around? Like, it's the best thing ever. So for me, it was like a double dhamaka.
So Anushka, what are some of your favorite things about Aditya?
I love his silliness. He's a very silly guy. Like, his sense of humor, his mannerisms. He's very silly.
Yeah.
So, which I think is very cute and very innocent, and I love that. Like, life is tough enough and hard enough that you have to constantly keep earning, working, struggling, this, that. So when you're in your home space, if you have someone who's just bringing a smile on your face constantly with like silly tactics, it's so nice. I think that is it. I love, I don't know, he's just a nice guy. Like, it's like you feel proud when you're connected to somebody who just everyone in the room falls in love with,
that is her. Everyone in the room falls in love with her.
And like anyone I've ever introduced him to, maybe my guy friends, my girlfriends, aunts, uncles, family members, whoever, they've just instantly fallen in love with him. So I just feel very proud of that okay, you know what, that just shows that his vibration as a human is such a sweet, nice and loving space that it doesn't take a minute for anyone to love him.
So one thing is that her personality is something I've never seen before any human have. Everybody that I've met instantly gets attracted to her in a friendly way or any other way. They see her as a support system, so do I. When she walks into a room, she just owns the room. I don't know how. Her conversations are so interesting. She'll make you feel so comfortable with. You could be an introvert, you could be an extrovert, you could be the most random person walking on the road, or you could be the most traumatized person that anybody would have ever come across. But something about her makes the other ones so comfortable that they will open up about their problems, their day-to-day, or anything that they have to, that is a secret within them. They just open up to her, and I don't understand how. The same thing happened with me as well. So that's one of the, and this woman is always right. She is always right. In the past 4 years, I just know of her being wrong once.
When?
You threw a shit fit once with me, Kanchan, your mama.
I was just emotional probably,
Yeah,
but
she
I was
did,
not
but
right
she
or
was-
wrong. I must have just been dramatic in
She
the
was being dramatic, and that was only once. And then she made me understand why she was being dramatic. And I was like, you're again right.
I don't like overreacting. I never overreact.
She doesn't do it. She's always right. I don't know how. And that is one thing that she's scared of. She said, Adi, you keep saying this to me that you're always right, but do I have an option to be wrong? I said, make as many mistakes as you want, but I know you won't.
I love how confidently Anushka asked when.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was like, when was I wrong?
What?
Anything that the two of you would want to change about each other, anything that you don't like.
Only one thing, that he's always late.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that ticks me off a little bit. That every time, so like a little strict teacher have to be like, time 10 minute baki hai, 5 minute baki hai, 2 minute baki hai. And I think that's the only thing. There's nothing that I would change. I mean, this obviously I would change, but this is not like a do or die situation.
She's asked me this question a million times before, and I haven't found anything yet. I don't know what to change about her.
That's beautiful.
She's very unlike me in a lot of things. She stresses about things that I wouldn't give a shit about, and I said, don't care.
Alright. The craziest things that you two have done for each other. And this is the part where I might ask you to sing, if you're okay with it.
To sing.
That is the craziest thing he's done for me for sure.
Oh yeah.
Is he sang?
I figured.
I have fainted, like literally fainted in that moment because I could not believe my ears. And I think my wedding was like, obviously everyone's weddings are memorable to them, but I said that moment makes my wedding most memorable for me. Like, that is the one thing about it. I don't know, what is the craziest thing I've done for you?
A lot of crazy things actually. To not pinpoint on something, but there are so many times that I may be in need of something, or I may be going through something, and before I know it, she's fixed it already. Like so many times. And everything that she does has, for example, a simple gift like she had bought me a shoe for my birthday. And that also wasn't a random shoe. It just wasn't. It had some connection to, for example, it had some connection to a show that we had seen together. And she remembered, said, okay, this is the shoe that I want to buy for him. And so everything that she does has a deeper meaning to it.
I love gifting. That is one thing that I get excited about, is giving gifts. So whenever I do that, I like to make it a little more personalized, as opposed to just picking up something which is the most expensive or the cheapest or the easiest. I just have to have some sort of background story to it. So that's just, I love it. Like, my mom has always been big on parties and gifting and stuff. So I'm just carrying on that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
That is really sweet. So gifts with meaning, right?
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Aditya, do you think you can do 2 lines for us?
You do it with me?
No.
What the hell?
Adi, please, I can't. My voice is really bad.
I don't know. I don't deny that. Jeez, you put me in the spot. Okay, I can try it. Kive mukhde to nazra hatawa, कि मैं मुखड़े तो नजरा हटावा
Don't. I'll start crying again.
I know.
Yeah.
Really sweet. I saw the video, the reel, the audio, the song
Yeah.
going crazy on Instagram, and I was like, I've not heard this voice before. Who is singing? And then I went and I checked, and I was like, oh my god, he's singing it himself.
Yeah.
Really sweet. Thank you so much for doing this. This question, you can choose if you want to answer this or not. I don't want to put you at an uncomfortable spot at all. But I know that the onset of COVID has been very, very difficult for the two of you, with the loss in your family, and which was huge, of course. Losing a father is a huge loss. And I have also noticed that there's a lot of work that the two of you have been doing. Aditya, you have taken up a lot of projects. Throughout this entire phase, how has your love really kept the two of you strong and together? If there is anything that you would want to share about the journey with Anushka through this whole phase.
I think she just instantly became that partner, that support that I was looking for, and a support that I didn't even know that I needed at that time, because nothing had sunk in by then. I wasn't understanding, and I remember speaking to my sister and on the phone, and she said, I don't know what happened. This was not supposed to happen to us. And I said, I totally agree. I'm still in a daze. I don't understand it. I don't know what has happened. And still, she just instantly became that partner that I indeed wanted. She was there throughout, every day, throughout everything. So our plan was obviously to get married, and the plan was that we will stay in the house that I was living in earlier, which was in Bandra, and my parents were supposed to move into another house that we had taken. And so instantly, the first thing she said that, you know what, your mom's going to be living with us. And that just, for me, that was a very big moment, because we had plans. We had decided on a lot of things that we would be doing together with the house and otherwise also with life. And suddenly everything just changed in that moment. And she just made it so easy. She realized that because that house we were staying in earlier was, we had just moved into that house like 2 years ago, something like that. Just 2 years ago. So, and it was a new building, so we didn't have friends over there. We were still getting to know people who lived over there. So in her head, she's like, okay, if Adi goes to work, Auntie's going to be alone over there. Like, my mom is going to be alone in the house, and I could be gone for a month, I could be gone for 2 months. And God knows what she did. And she found this house in her building where she
has been living
since 17 years.
Yeah.
And so she found that house, and she told me that, you know what, it's going to make things way easier for Auntie, which is my mom, and keeping everything, not keeping her comfort in mind, that, you know, my mom is also going to be closer, her dad is also going to be closer.
I actually
Nothing
didn't
of
even
that
think
sort.
of that. Like, it was not even a thought to me that my parents are the next wing.
Yeah.
But it just turned out to be, because my mom and his mom got along very well.
Yeah.
And my mom is a very energetic, loud person. She has a lot of friends, you know. His mom is a little more like quieter and more like homely. So I was like, you know, this would be good for his mother, that my mom can take her out. You know, there's this huge group of ladies in this building and very lovely women who live with us. Yeah. So, you know, she can have a whole new group of people who are energy, who are young, and, you know, just like young parents and stuff. So it just adds a lot. Like, it makes life much easier. And that's actually what happened. Like, Adi has been going for shoot. Yeah. He was gone for like a month at a point. And I wasn't, that time we weren't married, but I was next door. So I would pop back out, tell her his mom come over for dinner, come here for dinner. My mom would go for walks with her downstairs. So I said, this is what we like. I mean, it just worked out for us, and that's what it was. Just like a blessing in disguise, like, you know, making the best out of a bad situation. But it worked, and it's been working.
Yeah, it's just like the family became bigger because
Yeah.
we have her sister there, her mother there, her father there. Right in the next wing, we meet practically every day. Either we are there or either they are here. So it's just that it's become a bigger family now.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Throughout COVID, one communication that we have constantly been having as a brand, the WeddingWire India, we keep saying love is not cancelled. Because we did a lot of surveys and we realized that COVID was really disrupting a lot of plans, weddings, people were losing family, and a lot of relationships also fell apart. So, this is inspiring, and not just because we're doing this interview today, but because we've been reading about your journey. We know. And it's amazing that you took out the time to actually share this part with us. And I really hope that our couples who are listening to you will be inspired in the same way, and love will not be cancelled at all, no matter how bad COVID is.
Yeah, please. I hope, because being in a relationship is not easy, and you can't. It's like saying, my mother irritates me, so I'm going to get a new mother. Or, my sister's so annoying, I want a new sister. It doesn't work like that. And that's where I get really upset. Yeah, okay, fine. There was a reason why you're connected on some level. So there is some things will always change because everyone grows as a person. For example, my mom was 10 years ago to what she was 5 years ago to who she is today has been 3 different human beings. From being a very strict mom to being my best friend and the most chilled out person on the world. But you can't change relationships just because certain times it doesn't work, and I think that's very heartbreaking at points where people just fall apart for the silliest and smallest of reasons. And it's like, just work harder. Everything needs work, you accept your family constantly, and that's why you're forced into that. You're born into it. A partner you're choosing, so you must have had some understanding the day you selected this person, and I don't think it should be given up that easily.
Yeah, I mean, we've had our ups and downs. The initial bit of a relationship was quite a turmoil. Mostly because I think we come from very different backgrounds. So my understanding of the situation that she would be in was very, very different. And I wasn't understanding it. I wasn't being able to be of any help, be of any support. And I would not understand her reaction to certain things because
I come from a very liberal background. Like, my family's been very, very liberal. May come to friends and relations and clothes and foods and whatever, how it is sometimes. So, I mean, not like he had an issue with anything, but it was just a new understanding. So, and the great part about him is that he doesn't have an ego, an empty ego. He doesn't have to prove his manlyhood and his manliness or whatever at any point. And I feel like that's also another thing that men should realize, that ho gaya wo time gaya, like you don't have to pretend to be I'm the man and all. No, you just understand, and if you have a problem you question it.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. I think you got that sentence bang on, where you said you cannot change your parents, you're not just going to replace them, then why replace love? That's a beautiful message. Yeah. One last question would be about your wedding planning journey, because of course with COVID coming and going with its own mood swings, I'm sure it must have been challenging from time to time. So any tips for our couples on how they can plan their perfect dream wedding?
So for us, at one point, a lot of people started asking what if another wave hits, because at that point, November was when the wave was going to hit. And we decided, listen, if it's 50 people or 500, we're just doing it. Yeah. And eventually our wedding wasn't a really big one. Like, in guest list wise, there were like 200 people, 250 people, something like that at the Sangeet. My mending was like 50 people, 50, 60 people. It was actually quite small in that sense. And that was nicer. So I felt like my attention was on everybody, which people appreciated a lot more about me. Like, my friends really appreciated that I wasn't being a bride and running around doing my own thing and taking like hours to do my hair and makeup. They liked that I was the one messaging on the group saying, cows, where are y'all? Like, why are y'all not here yet? And, constantly checking out, because it did feel like, oh, I'm this queen of the world for these 2-3 days, and all my dasis need to run around. It was a collaborative thing where we were friends. Like, I was celebrating the biggest moment of my life with my closest people. So I keep getting messages from people after the wedding for like weeks. We were getting calls and messages saying, guys, even now, your memories, your wedding's etched in our memory. let's have a reunion of everyone at the wedding. We all met together to discuss what all went down at the wedding.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. So I feel like everyone who's thinking a big wedding is not the best, because you will not even have time to meet anybody, and all you're going to do is constantly keep dressing up, and especially for brides, I would like to say that keep your hair and makeup something that you can handle, and clothes. Like, I wore very light outfits. I wore pants on myself. Like, literally, my designer was confusing. Why are you wearing pants? But I was like, I know I'm going to dance. I know I'm going to run around. I know I'm going to be doing all these things. I don't want a huge lehenga where I can't move. No one can hug me because there's like 30 meters of can between me and a human being. So I feel like, and people really appreciated it. Nobody said, "Arey, itna low-key tha," ya "itna ghera nahi tha," whatever. Nobody said anything like that. They were just like, "Oh, you look happy, you look good." And I think because I was comfortable, I was happy.
I think there's a huge bubble around this wedding ki, oh, it has to be grand, or मुझे ऐसे कपड़े पहनने हैं, मुझे इन लोगों को बुलाना है, and we just realized that the people that matter to you are the only people that should be there, because I'll tell you what, the Sangeet and everything went fabulous. Like, we partied till like 5:30 in the morning. Everybody that we wanted around, they were still there, chilling, partying. The next day was the wedding. Now the wedding was in a hotel, which on an open area, and as soon as the feras got done, it started pouring, like mad pouring. So the entire reception was inside the lobby of the hotel. Like, there were restaurant, and the lobby. That's exactly where the entire reception happened, and not one person said a word about it. They all said, "This is a blessing. ये बहुत अच्छा हुआ, बारिश हुई है, ये तो बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है. Good start to your wedding." They were happy being there in the lobby. They were happy being there inside the restaurant, just stuck to each other, talking, eating, because they were the people who mean something to us and we mean something to them. So it just made us. It didn't bother us at all. I was more than happy. I literally told everybody I'm happy it rained, because if it's a blessing, it's a blessing. But everybody out there was so happy just to be there, and it couldn't make
it was actually very nice. So that's when we realized that if I had called 1,000 people, they would be uncomfortable, they would be complaining, ye kya hai, khana kya hai, oh kuch ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. And that's hurtful, because you put in a lot of energy when you plan a wedding, however big or small it is, and it's emotions put into it. Forget the planning, it's emotions put into it. So everyone, just irrespective of COVID, I would say, I still suggest, save your money, spend it on yourself. Buy yourself something good, go on a good trip, get a good home, do whatever, like buy yourself a car. Jesus, do what you want with that money. There's so many ways of spending it on yourself, as opposed to food and decor and a shosha, which people are going to abuse if they want to abuse, irrespective.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the couple should be really, really happy.
Yeah, I think we had a blast. We were with all our friends, we were with each other. It felt like it was our wedding. I've seen weddings where the bride and groom don't even hang out for more than 5 minutes, because they're so busy taking care of somebody or their family or getting ready or prepping something. And I'm like, what was the point?
We partied till 5:30 in the morning on the Sangeet night with all the friends around, and just being mad. We didn't have any responsibilities. We didn't have to please anybody that was there. We were just being amongst family, being amongst friends, and just having a great time. And the next morning that we had woken up, she still had a chuda. I've woken up in the morning and I'm like, it's the day. I should be panicking, but I'm not. Let's call my friends over to my room. We were all staying in the same hotel. Let's call, just chill. It was just fun. They came over and we were just hanging in the room, and they're like, "Aren't you supposed to get ready?" I said, "Not for 4 hours. Not for the next 4 hours. So let's just chill."
I genuinely didn't touch my phone this whole wedding. I was just so in the moment. I have not taken any photo of myself. I have not taken photos with anybody. Whoever's taken on their phone has is fine. I was just there. Like, I was living and enjoying, and that was it.
This is wedding goals. Congratulations. Have a wonderful life. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss another update from WeddingWire India.